What's happening, so fam? It is Tarot Tuesday. You already know what time it is, okay? Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share. All the links that you need to join our communities are in the links below, including one-on-one coaching. So let's just get right into it. This is going to be a cosmic reading. The last couple weeks we've been reading a lot about like this chaos that's coming through, like this Nemesis energy that's been playing a role in suppressing not only free speech, but our expression of self and our evolution globally. So a lot of those same energies that we've been reading the last couple weeks are definitely still present. They've shifted a little bit. If you've been doing any of the death alchemy, if you've been doing any of the work that's been called upon you as a divine assassin to help the world, you may have been noticing like things are getting a little bit easier for you. You might also notice that there are things that have to be purged from your life as you're diving deeper into this kind of magic. Now we're going to start over here on this far corner. And the first card that comes out really is the card of chaos, okay? So this chaos card is pretty much the main energy that's going to be affecting everyone right now. There's a heavy amount of chaos, and then we have the energy of Uranus is where we're going to be starting off with in just a second. So what does it mean when we have a lot of chaos present? It doesn't mean that there's evil present. Chaos and evil are not the same things. Chaos without direction can easily be turned into a negative event, which we can consider evil. The main thing that we need to be really focusing on here is the fact that with chaos comes the opportunity for massive growth and massive change, okay? It's very important that you keep that in mind, especially with the energies of Uranus, because Uranus reminds us that some changes are so hard-hitting that we didn't expect them to come through. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to the Uranus energy. And Uranus is telling us the main thing we got to be focusing on right here is happiness, okay? The changes that are happening may seem scary. They may seem like really huge or bring some level of uncertainty, but ultimately you need to keep in mind that whatever changes are coming through independently in your reality are to get you to the next happiest vibration. Now we come out with the card of the Chariot next, which is basically telling you you are in this divine movement of happiness, this divine movement towards happiness, okay? It's one of those things that's like, okay, a lot of times we want change and we want to get to the next level, but at the same time, we want to stay the same. We want things to be easy for us as we make that transition. There's nothing saying that you cannot have ease, but at this current time, the only ease that you will find is the opportunity to continue moving with what you're being guided to do. So if you're being told, hey, you need to drop, this one thing, you need to do that because that's going to make you happy, okay? The next card that comes out is the Angel of Memory. This is reminding us of the power that we carry every day inside of us, that we can ultimately become the happiest versions of ourselves if we choose to become that person, right? Like, your happiness is ultimately always going to be in your own hands. And a lot of times it seems like, okay, we don't have that energy present in our lives to do things. So just know that when you're in doubt, allow yourself to just remind yourself, hey, it's going to work out in my favor. Hey, it's going to work out in my favor. Hey, I get it. Don't worry. It doesn't make sense. It seems scary right now, but it's all going to pan out. That's the main thing that we need to be reminding ourselves of, is like the movement of happiness itself is a perpetual state. It's not just when it gets activated and it gets turned on, or when it gets activated or turned off, right? Happiness is this flowing energy that reminds us that we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, and the only thing that's stopping us from being happy is the ego. The ego is usually afraid to take the next steps towards happiness, and that's one of the things that we really need to be focusing on at this time. Now, when we dive over to this energy right here, this is the energy of Venus, okay? So the energy of Venus is the direct opposition to the chaos. Now, Venus is associated to love. Venus is associated to opening up your heart. Venus is also associated to a deep level of authenticity that comes from our hearts, okay? Now, this kind of chaos is showing up in a lot of different ways. Maybe you're working with a group of people and you end up noticing that there's a person there that's not really contributing the same way as everyone else is. Maybe you are, trying to find more love for yourself, and you realize that having more love for yourself is letting go of specific things. I definitely know that during my trip in Aruba, I let go of smoking weed. I stopped drinking. I stopped eating sugar. I stopped drinking coffee. Like, it just all happened because I had to ask myself, do I love myself more than like the chaos that I subscribe to in terms of my own habits, right? So sometimes it's really hard to like do that and look at that and say, okay, well, I gotta let go of certain people. I gotta let go of certain habits. I have to let go of whatever. But you always have to ask yourself, am I doing it because I love myself, right? If you can do that, you are in the clear, because that love is going to directly carry you forward into the deepest memory of your powers of being happy. So since this has to do with Venus, we're going to go right over to the Venus sector. Venus is reminding us of the Queen of Cups. Remember that you have a lot of generosity. Remember that your energy is probably the biggest gift that you can give anybody. So you have to make sure that that energy is being used wisely. Your energy is the same thing as money. You don't normally go, well, most people, right, don't normally go and spend a lot of money on useless things that they know is not going to bring some sort of return or some level of happiness. This is where you need to be applying your energy in the same fashion. Don't give your energy to things that do not deserve your energy anymore. You have to learn almost how to have like this cutthroat mentality of saying, okay, I recognize this is no longer serving me. No questions asked. I'm going to cut it off, right? And just be as brutal as possible with yourself to make it happen. Now, sometimes people hear me say be brutal as possible. I'm not saying, if you have a problem with another person, to go cuss that person out, to tell that person how horrible they are. No, just recognize whatever energy is there and then decide to say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. I'm just going to ghost or disappear or whatever. And, depending on your style is whether or not you're going to be doing it in one way or another. But by focusing on how you spend your energy, that's going to give you a direct return as to the Six of Cups, which is your happiness, your pleasantry. Now, these two cards right here, Uranus and Venus, they're heavily telling you that the main focus of everything is happiness. So if you're doing the Death Alchemy, if you're doing the Divine Assassin energy work, you should be clearing out all unhappiness that is on the planet, period. That should be your target, okay? If you're a divine healer, you should be healing the wounds of people who do not resonate with happiness for whatever reason, anxiety, etc., right? So it's one of these energies that's very important because we are opening up new gateways to the crown, new gateways to life. We are all co-creating a very powerful shift that doesn't happen very often, okay? So it's important that you do your part. As always, when you work on yourself, you will be able to help other people at a greater scale. You need to listen to yourself and listen to what the guides are bringing forward towards your attention. Some of these things will be very weird and different, and you may not know why you want to do them, especially with that Venus energy. A couple great examples is while I was in Aruba, I was like, you know what? I had this epiphany. A lot of people still don't know a lot about Reiki, and the things that they're being taught about Reiki is very flawed. And I know so much about Reiki, and I cannot let the Reiki game be just kind of like tainted with all these inexperienced people guiding inexperienced people to be more inexperienced, right? So I was like, one awakening. Do I like working particularly with Reiki? Not necessarily. I've dedicated my life a lot to Antojai, but this is a great example of like, okay, well, I know that's an uncomfortable thing for me to dive back into that realm because I felt like I grew past it, but it's what's needed for ultimately my happiness. And a lot of my happiness comes from hearing people's stories of like, man, I did this Reiki thing and it changed my life, right? You need to be able to look at that and say, okay, sometimes you don't want to write a book, but you have to write the book because you know it's going to get you to the next level. Sometimes you don't want to talk to your sister, but you have to talk to your sister because it's going to allow you to open up more centers for communication, or even possible release of karma for the both of you, right? So it's this thing of like, how can you improve your life? How can you bring more love into your life? How can you live life from love while also generating intense amounts of happiness? As you do those things, you must share them with other people, and you're going to see an even bigger return. Sometimes that does mean challenges, you know. Just because we're pursuing happiness doesn't always mean that it's going to be easy. You have to choose happiness or staying the same, right? And a lot of times people are going to hit those blocks, and you just have to know you have to stay focused on the main goal. Your main goal is happiness. Everyone's main goal right now is happiness. So since we've seen how these two main energies that are controlling everything, Uranus and Venus, we're going to come right back into the center, which is the sun. This is the center where we're generating a lot more of these energies. This is the spirit. What is the collective spirit trying to tell us to do? Okay? We're stepping into like this full energy. The full energy is really powerful because it tells you like sometimes things seem really crazy. The full usually walks on the edge of cliffs, and that cliff is not very stable. There's winds that are happening. He has a lot of stuff that he's carrying, but for some reason he just doesn't care whether or not he'll stay on the edge or he'll fall, because ultimately it's the experience that he's having in his life that's going to allow him to learn and grow and become more of whatever it is that the fool seeks to be. Now, the fool doesn't always mean that it's a dumb person. The fool is also a person that can be a wise man. Sometimes people seem like fools, but then when we kind of sit down and really analyze what they're doing, the energies that they're carrying, we're like, whoa, they figured out something I've been trying to figure out for a while. So then we have the energy of the time stop, which is this is also incorporating three major energies. We're coming back to Uranus, which is reminding us we need to stop and focus on this happiness and the movements of happiness. We also have the energies of Pluto, which we're going to be diving into in just a second. And we also have the energies of Neptune, which we're also going to be looking into in just a second. Pluto has to do with the death energy. Neptune has to do with the spiritual love energy, and Neptune and Venus are definitely heavily connected to each other. So the time stop card is telling us the 8th chakra right now is the only thing that's being focused. That's why there's a lot of death alchemy that's coming through. That's why there's a lot of transformation. That's why there's a lot of rebirthing, a lot of transitioning happening, a lot of confronting egos, confronting like limitations, and then being able to see people for who they really are. This is a really powerful energy right now to recognize that the 8th chakra, your halo, is fully activated. You need to be focusing on making that halo brighter and on letting other people see that halo, because we are in the age of Aquarius, okay? So this golden age is real. This golden age is saying, sometimes we have to choose not to be the problem. And sometimes we're like, oh yeah, oh my God, the world's in such a shitty state. I'm so afraid. You're contributing to the problem. Instead of saying, yeah, the world's in a shitty state, but you know what? We're going to end up in a better place. We're going to end up happier. People are going to be able to see through the veil. People are going to be empowered, and people are going to realize that they've been giving their power away. By having that kind of mentality, the golden age can truly shift in the directions that we're supposed to be carrying it, which is extreme love, extreme life, extreme passion for the energies that we're carrying every day in terms of happiness and existence. So since Uranus and Venus are definitely working together, we're going to go right over here to the Neptune energy so we can read some of that Neptune energy. Neptune comes out with the High Priestess, and since the time stop card was underneath here, reminding us of like the 8th chakra and things are like coming to a halt here, the High Priestess is asking you at a spiritual loving level, are you willing to be more than what you are for the collective? Not just for yourself, but for the collective. Right now, you're going to be able to see very clearly people who are strictly just manifesting for themselves because their ego needs to continue to manifest. And you're going to be able to see people who are actually thinking about the greater picture of society and what can happen as a whole for us. For the people that you see that are strictly refusing to step out of ego, it's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me. I don't care how multiple people feel about this. It's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me. Cut those people out. Okay, coming back to one of those major messages that we said previously, you have to cut those people out. By doing so, you're going to find a lot of happiness. Here we come again, happiness, balancing. The happiness is not just going to manifest for yourself, you guys. You have to be the component that says, I choose happiness. A lot of times people are like, oh yeah, I'm manifesting happiness, but the opportunity to make happiness happen will show up, and then you're like, oh, that makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't think I'm going to do that. I want a different solution. That's not going to happen this time. You need to be paying attention to the people who are self-centered, to the people who don't care about the collective, to the people who are living in fear, to the people who choose not to change, to the people who are still wounded. That's not saying people who are wounded or living from their ego are evil. That's not saying that they're flawed. That's just saying that they don't belong in your energy anymore. Remember, spending your energy is like currency. The more people you spend your energy with and you surround yourself with is how you're spending your currency, okay? The cosmos is only going to give you more of that. If you're always hanging out with people who suck, you're going to get more people who suck, right? So ultimately, we come back to the energy of the kingdom, okay? Which is basically saying foundations. Our foundations are being restructured. Regardless of whether or not you take a direct part, you are taking a direct part, okay? If you snooze, you are saying, you're choosing to snooze. You're basically telling the cosmos, I don't want to do anything. Give me whatever is in resonance with what I'm producing right now. If you're choosing to look at what's happening and you're saying, nope, I don't want that anymore as a part of my reality. Nope, I'm not going to deal with that anymore because it's not making me happy. You're going to be telling the cosmos exactly the same thing. Like, no, shift it. Bring me what I want, right? You deserve everything that you want, ultimately. And I know sometimes people don't feel worthy enough to have that kind of energy, right? But if you don't allow yourself to know that energy, that you can have what you want by making the choices of having what you want, then that's going to be your ultimate manifestation, right? You'll come to that conclusion soon enough. Moving over to Pluto. Pluto comes out with the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is reminding us that we have all the things that we need at this time. Maybe you might have realized that you don't really need to be buying anything anymore, spending anything. There's nothing really that you want, right? Maybe you want to have more experiences versus having more material things. You might also be realizing that you want to declutter your house, declutter your life, declutter your energies in general. Do it. If you feel like you got to get rid of that couch because that one couch reminds you of your ex, do it. If you feel like you got to go ahead and rearrange your house even though it's really tedious and uncomfortable, do it. These are the things that will help you get to the next level to produce the highest results for yourself ultimately. But if you're not taking those steps forward into recognizing, okay, you can't be hiding in the material universe anymore, it is going to kind of sort of backfire on you, okay? A lot of what's happening right now is trying to suck you back into the material universe and even downgrade you even deeper into the alternate universes below the material universe. A great example is virtual reality. A great example is the metaverse. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out pretty soon about having an alternate reality in which you can subscribe to, live your life, go to work, and it's a world inside of a world that we're already in. We're already in a hologram, and we're creating a holographic universe inside of a video game system so people can extend their lives into that lower dimension, which is more of an illusion. So it's extremely important that you don't start giving your energy away in the sense of like you're going to invest in virtual reality. If you're going to invest in it for like the sake of stocks and profits, then okay, do that. But be very, very wary of diving into like the metaverses and stuff like that that are going to be ultimately trying to draw you away from your ultimate ascension. Anything that has to do with material escapism is going to be something you need to really pay attention to. If you're constantly creating excuses as to why you can't do something, that's a material escapism. I can't do this because of this. That's victimization. If you're constantly making your moves worried about the material aspects of things, you are going to constantly be limited to the material universe. A great example is if you end up saying, hey, I know I have to spend more money to grow my business, but I'm afraid to spend that money. What if it doesn't work out? You know what? I'm going to cut corners. That's going to give you a stalled out version of what you're looking for. Now we come back to the King of Wands, which is really interesting. We started off with the King of Pentacles, now we're coming down to the King of Wands. And this is saying that you have a lot of power at your fingertips right now. And sometimes having that power can lead you to feel like almost power drunk, or like you can't handle that power because it's really intense. Here is a major component to really, really focus on your happiness, on your self-mastery. Right now you're being asked to step away from a lot of different things, especially if you've been giving your energy to other people. If you're a healer, keep being a healer, you know what I mean? But really make boundaries clear. Make sure that you keep, you know, if you have a 60-minute session, you have a tendency of going an extra 30 minutes in your session, I highly recommend at this time, if your sessions are 60 minutes, keep it to 60 minutes, okay? You're valuing your energy, you're valuing your time, you're valuing your money. The cosmos is going to continue to give you more of those things. But if you have a 60-minute session and you're always going to 90 minutes and you're not getting paid for that extra 30 minutes, you're not valuing your own energy. Your cosmos is going to give you more of that same repetition and energy. So here we come back to this energy of the Scorpio, the energy of the Scorpion. Scorpion has been showing up a lot because Scorpion is about taking action and also about venom. There's a deep venom in this reality right now. A lot of people are seeing the lies that are happening on a global scale in terms of the news and the narrative that is trying to be pushed out there. Some of us have been attacked by beings like organizations like the Illuminati. Other people have been attacked by their fellow peers. Other people have been simply just self-attacking themselves because they don't choose to grow. There's a lot of narratives right here that have to do with venom, and this venom has to be purged. The medicine to purge that is this intense love and this intense happiness, this focus to guard your energy, because the venom is manifesting. It's coming out of everyone. And even if you think that you don't have venom, you do, okay? Everybody has some sort of venom, whether it's anxiety or you hate people or you have some sort of beef with somebody, whatever. There's some sort of venom that's coming up. And if you've been trying to suppress it, you're just going to stall out for a while until you can't anymore. So it's really important that if you're starting to have these reflections, you journal, you look at them, you ask yourself what's most important to get to the next level, okay? So we're coming back over to the sun energy because this took us on a ride. We need to put a stop to wasting our energy, a stop to investing in the material universe and anything that is lower than the material universe. We should be only focusing on our foundations, which are ultimately going to bring us more in alignment with love and light in our life, okay? So it's very, very powerful stuff. So let's go ahead here. In the sun, we have the Knight of Wands, basically reminding us, hey, like, you can have whatever you want, but you also have to take the time to calculate and strategize. Sometimes when we hear these messages of urgency to recreate foundations and stuff like that, we're like, oh my God, we got to do everything at once. No, just take your time. Everything has calculated steps, right? The universe ultimately is a game of chess. And that's an analogy a lot of people don't like to listen to. But this game of chess, if you're too impulsive when you're playing chess, you will lose. You're gonna make a mistake. If you're taking your time and you're looking at things and you're studying what's happening and then you're taking moves accordingly, then the chess game has a higher probability of winning, because ultimately that's how chaos is going to be playing out. Now here's the second chaos card. We have a chaos card out here, which is saying that the cosmos is being engulfed right now by chaos. And then we have a chaos card at the sun spirit level, which is basically telling us that the chaos is already here. It's at a spiritual level. It cannot be avoided. So if you're one of those people that's like, I don't want to look at the dark, I don't want to deal with changing my foundations, I don't want to whatever, I want to just, go back into my cave, you're part of that chaos and you will get your ass handed to you 100%, because all the other beings that are on this cosmic plane that are saying, no, we are no longer going to be accepting this level of chaos, we're going to be shifting this chaos out, we're going to be doing what is necessary for us, As long as you are not contributing to the general happiness, you are the problem. The work that the other divine beings on this planet are doing are going to directly attack you as a byproduct, okay? And that's not because those divine beings on Earth, are saying, you suck, right? Like, it's not even that. It's like you're in resonance with the chaos. If you don't want to be affected by those energies, the attacks that are being generated against the evil of chaos, then you have to choose to be a better version of yourself. Because ultimately, with the angel of dust, we are destroying and recreating things. We're learning how to become more powerful. We're learning how to do things steadfast with the constant determination. But we're also learning how to be the most awakened versions of ourselves, seeing the interconnectedness of everything that we're doing. It's extremely important for you to be able to choose to enlighten yourself at this time. Coming back over to this energy over here, we have the Mariner Castle, which is the energy of Mercury, okay? So Mercury is coming through, reminding you this year was about travel, communication, and also like making big waves and movement, okay? Now Mercury, or Hermes, Thoth, okay? It's got a lot of different energies associated to it. It even has the energy of Baphomet. Baphomet is a demon that is about polarities and rebalancing. That's the energy that's happening right now this year. Things are rebalancing. Thoth is the god of wisdom, geometry, and writing. That's a lot of what's happening right now. A lot of people are becoming aware to their life circumstances and how they've contributed to giving their power away, or how they can be better working on themselves. Hermes is all about travel, messages, and communication. That's why we're being forced to talk about certain things with certain people, especially with ourselves, and also making those moves to get to the next level that we want to get to. Because ultimately, that is the Nemesis. This energy came out last week, okay? The Nemesis energy. We must be destroying that Nemesis energy with fire energy, a deep Mars fire energy. Again, coming back to the spells that I've been sharing on the inner circle about death alchemy, I've given you a specific fire spell that must be used to target certain energies in the cosmos, and there's responses to that as we've been able to see. We're also starting to see how, like, we're seeing beyond the veil as to like what was happening globally. We're going to be seeing even countries start to fall as a byproduct, and you can't be afraid to see these things because it has to happen. You cannot avoid these energies. We're going to go over to Mercury with the Queen of Archer. Stay focused on the goal. As the rest of the world shifts through its chaos, that is an opportune moment for you to make what you want happen. Because when the world is in chaos, there's those who stay lucid can have the opportunity to really dictate the chaos. But you cannot create things from a broken heart space or a limited heart space. If you want to create a lot of wealth in your life because you've been so afraid of, being poor because you've been poor your whole entire life, and that's where you create your abundance or your next movements from, you need to make a constant effort not to be feeding that storyline anymore. If you feel lonely because you've been single for a very long time and you've been trying to manifest and stay focused on creating a lover in your life, you need to let go of the heartache, because the heartache is only going to cause you more heartache, or it's going to land you with someone who, is going to give you more heartache, right? Sometimes we feel lonely and we're like, I want a lover, I want to be with that person forever, and then you're like, you're just so lonely and hurt that eventually you'll manifest somebody who gives you more of that, or you'll stay in the same position where you feel lonely, you feel hurt, and you never find someone. Letting go of the energy, the base foundational energy that is saying, hey, this is my wound, this is what I'm afraid of. Looking at your fear and just being courageous and saying, okay, I recognize this has been the pattern, I'm walking past this, is the main thing. Another thing that we need to be paying attention to is the energies of the solar energies of pride, okay? So a lot of solar energies coming through. There's a couple days we had an X-class solar flare that hit a lot of people, and like, whoa, made people sick, made people aware. There were over 400 flights that were canceled from other airlines because the solar flare was so intense, right? A lot of the solar flare, solar activity is coming because of the Aquarius shift, the golden age. The sun is associated not only to your spirit, but it's associated to your 11th chakra. Your 11th chakra is located at each hand, okay? And it's also located above your head. about like 5 feet above your head. So it's very important for you to just kind of like recognize where this solar energy is coming from. And if you're feeling any energy of pride, that you're better than other people, or that like you just want to have things done your way all the time, you need to stop and think for a second, is this selfish? Because if it is, you're part of the chaotic problem, okay? And that's going to come back and bite you in the ass. So now we're going to go over to Mars, okay? Because Mars was the second energy that came out. We have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is reminding you that, okay, there's a little bit of struggle with every movement, but the Page of Cups tells you that this is just a learning curve until you learn how to master your own energies. Coming back to the Libra card, basically telling you the balancing of scales. You remember how I told you in the Mercury sector that we had this energy of Baphomet, of the energy of Thoth, the energy of Hermes, the energies of rescaling and rebalancing and rechanging. Here we have a second confirmation saying it's not always going to be easy. And, it can be really easy if you want it to be, but a lot of us are starting to see our own limitations, and we have to sit with them, right? Sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle depending on what you're dealing with, but know that this is just to learn how to better manifest as a whole. Coming over to Jupiter, what are the abundance that we're going to be bringing in as a byproduct of this? We have Temperance. So it is going to be a game of patience. Whatever it is that you have in your Star of Lakshmi that comes down to patience, this is going to be a major, major thing for you. Patience for me happens to be vulnerability. I have to be vulnerable with all the things that are coming through here, no matter what that means, right? If patience for you means something else, whatever your keyword is, that's what you need to be doing to reap the most abundance, okay? And sometimes just patience in general is so intense to deal with, but you need to walk away from anything that's causing you self-sabotage. We're repeating the same messages across in different ways, because what you're doing as you choose more for yourself is you're telling the rest of the collective, you deserve more too. We all deserve more. Let's do this together, right? It's a very important time right now to just be patient and watch things happen. Then we come down to the Angel of the Mountain, coming back to the energy of foundation, that energy of earth, which will then guide us over to the earth sector over here. With our foundations, we have a lot of luck for the things that we can be creating at this time. But with the Page of Wands, we need to understand that hastiness will be our downfall. So allow yourself to learn. This is a learning opportunity. This is what we're doing. We're learning to become more happy people. We're learning how to share our happiness with other people and be more wise with how we spend our energetic currency. We're learning how to combat chaos with an extreme high amount of love, as we also let that love be a little bit chaotic and weird and challenging, so that we can then choose to destroy and recreate ourselves overall. We're coming down to this understanding that there are dark forces right now. We're in full-fledged war, and I usually don't like saying that, because I know some people freak out when they hear that, but right now is a full-fledged war. The war was kind of like picking up and getting started, and now we're deep in it. You have to fight for your consciousness. You have to fight for your happiness by embodying that vibration. It's not asking for it anymore. It's embodying it, and no one can take it from you once you do that. And the Angel of the Night is coming through, reminding you that you are not doing this for yourself. You're also doing it for the children of the planet, the children of the future, the children of the golden age. And you're also doing it for all the souls that still have not come through. You're setting the example at a cosmic scale, not just for the people on this planet, but the people who have yet to come in, who are watching from the ethers, and they're seeing this battle go down, and they're saying, oh, well, when I go down there, I'm going to choose to have fun towards happiness. We need to be the example that we seek in general, and we cannot let certain abuse or certain mentality structures continue to play on, because then we are contributing again to that problem. So now we've read a lot of the major energies. We're going to come back right over here to Saturn, which would be the last major energy. Saturn comes down again with Temperance. All right, Saturn has to do with the third eye, has to do with destructive qualities, it has to do with intense energies. temperance over here. We just need to have patience as we go through this shift, because the last vibration that's going to be coming out of having our patience and working with ourselves is an extreme happiness of being in alignment with the people that we really care about. So then we also have the energy of the angel of the stars, which is telling us the cosmos is backing us up on this. Even if you feel scared, even if you feel afraid, you know that the cosmos is actually here trying to help you get to the next level. And this is what's absolutely amazing, is like, you're not alone. You're only alone if you choose to perceive yourself as being alone. Okay, so then we're going to look at these energies on the outside here. We have the Page of Riders coming out, which is saying like, movement's the only thing that we have. Okay, like, you need to learn how to move, right? You need to learn how to continue to manifest, to have temperance, to take it one step at a time. But you also have to learn that you got to keep moving. You can't just stay stagnant, because it's not going to work for you this time. Okay, we have the final cards over here, Judgment, coming out on that corner over there, telling us that this is a cosmic thing that cannot be changed. We are gridlocked into this energy right now, and this energy is ultimately going to be playing out heavily into what we're going to be creating for the rest of our lives. This is a moment that we're creating for the rest of our lives. Even though time and space has been quote unquote stopped for a second, it is going to create alternate timelines that help us get to the next level. There's a huge wave of energy that's going to be coming up, that's going to challenge our wisdom and also challenge us to let go of resentment and stagnant pains that are happening here as well. So it's a lot of good energy happening here. It's more so action. The main thing, focus on happiness. So here's your reading. You already know what to do. Sending you all the love. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, or you want to join any of our communities, check out the links in the description below. And I'll catch you later. Here's my heart for you.